My partner recently went on a work trip and he bought me back this shirt. He did. And it got me dancing around my apartment singing songs from The Little Mermaid and thinking about how obsessed I was with Ariel as a kid and wondering why. This video reflects on the 1989 original film by Disney only. And if it does make you want to go to a streaming app to rewatch it, maybe don't. Go borrow it from the library or access it online via alternative means. Yar. Or don't. I mean, it's a 35-year-old cartoon. We all know what happens. If you don't know what happens, you may simply believe unquestioningly everything I have to say about it. If this video makes money, a donation will be made, probably to Doctors Without Borders. The Little Mermaid was, without a doubt, one of my favourite films. I couldn't tell you how many times I've seen it. I was one of those ones who would watch their faves on a loop. Like, the video didn't leave the VHS player for months on end. I was 2 when it was released, and I fell in love from the first. I wanted to be Ariel so bad, I begged my mum and dad to buy me a mermaid tail. I became obsessed with anything mermaid related. I remember so distinctly the first time I saw Splash, because it wasn't a cartoon, and like her tail looked so real, it was incredible. I'll still watch absolutely anything with mermaids in it. Bring back Siren! I love those fishy little guys. I just think they're neat. As I got older, I went off Disney a fair bit. I began learning all the criticisms about these films that I had been so fond of as a child. How anti-feminist these prince-obsessed princesses actually were. How they've probably set me up for a lifetime of romantic failure and disappointment. One of the criticisms I heard was that The Little Mermaid is the story of a girl who literally sells her voice for a man. And did she? Was my childhood hero just some anti-feminist fish flopping under the thumb of patriarchy? Was Ariel the actual epitome of all that was wrong with the princess genre? A woman's voice is her power. Did she literally sacrifice her power, her autonomy, her identity for some guy called Eric? In this essay, I will argue that Ariel is literally iconic, and I will fight anyone who disagrees with me. Part 1. Ariel Icon. So Ariel lives under the tyrannical rule of her father, King Triton. An absolute prick. Fragile, stubborn, entitled dictator of a man-god. He's like super powerful. Everyone's afraid of him. Look, see how he cowers. But Ariel, her whole jam is the human world. This is one of the first things we learn about her. She has amassed an awesome collection of human artifacts and thingamabobs. She is quite the curator and also interior designer. But she needs to keep it a secret, because if there's one thing that Daddy Doom hates more than anything, it's fish-eating humans. Because they eat fish. This merman has the power to control the skies and the seas. He could wipe out entire fleets of boats if he wanted to. Hell, he could send a tsunami to swallow up an entire town. He is infinitely more powerful than any human, and yet he acts like the humans are the big bad guys because they eat fish. I'm not sure what mer people eat, actually, but plenty of fish eat fish. Fucking dolphins eat fish. So Dictator Daddy, King of the Seas, rules with an iron fist, and he prevents all mer people from going to the surface, under the pretense of keeping them safe or whatever, but it becomes strikingly clear that he actually just doesn't want them to know the truth. Like any fundamentalist fascist, he has full control over his troop of daughters, whom he makes perform for him. Pure propaganda. But Ariel doesn't give a shit. No, she wants to learn about humans. She wants to know what the people know. She wants to ask them her questions and get some answers, such as, what is this fire and why does it, what's the word, burn? My girl is down there pondering the laws of thermodynamics, and King Triton is like, yeah, cute, now sing for me. Sing for me, slave daughter. So Triton is a proper misogynist, and our Ariel is itching to escape. Bright young women, sick of swimming, ready to step. Sounds like feminism to me. Now, one of the other first things we learn about Ariel is she has this awesome singing voice. Almost as good as mine. Seriously, everyone loves it. People are obsessed. She isn't though. Her voice is valued by everyone except her. So her prick of a dad finds out that she went to the surface and ended up saving the life of a human, which makes him super mad. Because according to him, the only good type of human is a dead human. Like, how is he acting like mer people are the oppressed group here? He controls the skies and seas. Oh, and he also learns that Ariel is in love with a human man. He flips out. Flips the fuck out. Look at her cower. She knows she's in physical danger right now. Triton destroys all of her shit. Absolutely brutal. Then he leaves her crying alone on the floor with only so much as a quick sad look back. Yeah, you should be sad. You crossed a line. You're the arsehole. Isn't that such a common theme of those Am I the Arsehole threads as well? Like, my girlfriend really likes this thing that I think is stupid, so I destroyed all of her stuff. Am I the arsehole? Let people enjoy things. So she wants to get it on with that hot statue. What harm is done? So she's been physically threatened by her father, had everything in her whole wide world destroyed, all her hopes and fishy dreams shattered. So she's like, fuck it, I'm going with these eels then. Sea witch, you say? Sure thing. What's she got to lose? Stuck between a violent dictator with the power of a god and a sea witch. God, I hate when that happens. But Ursula, the sea witch, right, she's, well, iconic herself, let's face it. But she's also kind of honest. Until she isn't. Until she cheats. But of course she cheats. She's the bad guy. But at first she's honest. Like, she is straight up with Ariel about the terms of this contract. Like, I'm going to take your voice. You've got to find love's true kiss by Tuesday, or I'm turning you into a little worm guy. Would you still love me if I was a worm? Ariel barely hesitates. No, let me sleep on it or anything. She knows what she wants and she's spotted her last chance to get it. So she happily gives up her voice, that thing that everyone else covets, for the thing she really wants. Legs. Now she can stand like the feminist icon she is. And she could not be more thrilled. While everyone else is fumbling around trying to get the prince to kiss her, she's just having a great time, enjoying life on land as much as she possibly can. And this is what Eric falls for. Also, by the way, on the point of Eric, she may have thought that he was a straight up hottie as soon as she laid eyes on him, but she also liked the fact that he was friends with the dog, and how he wasn't interested in his titles and responsibilities as prince. Like her. She sensed his genuine, humble and kind spirit. They had shit in common. But Eric is enamoured with this enthusiastic girl who sees the world in such a unique and joyous way. She makes him laugh for the first time in a long time. She sees the beauty in the mundane and she greets life with wonder. He loves her curiosity and her wacky, wacky ways. And little me dreamed that someone would love me like that one day. That my love for the unusual the small and the mundane would become attractive and appreciated. That instead of feeling like an oddball, I would feel beloved. Part 2. Ariel Autistic? Well, I mean, she's not, is she? But I think that there are lots of autistic-y reasons why I was so taken with the character. Why she was the one I related to. I always had my collections growing up and I would be drawn to unusual objects. I liked spending time with my things and my pets, immersed in my special interests. Way more than I liked attending events or hanging around with other kids. And I'd dream of the future, what I'd get to do, who I'd get to be, where I'd get to go, the things that I would find. I loved my room, and I loved the things in my room. Grounding was never a punishment option for my mum. Go on then, send me to my grotto. The scene where Triton destroys her safe space still upsets me to think about. I remember when I first watched this movie at such a tender young age being so upset. I couldn't believe that a parent would do that to their child. Destroyed, with malice, the only thing in the world that she cared about. I don't care if he did look back a bit sad afterwards, that shit was unforgivable. Ariel is a determined young lady who knows who the fuck she is. She knows what she wants, she knows what she likes. And she isn't going to be swayed by inexplicable cultural norms into giving up her passion. So she takes a chance with somebody who she probably shouldn't have trusted. Ugh, same bestie, been there. But she gets her legs and she absolutely slays. She's immediately thrilled, and chasing after Eric doesn't even seem like her priority. She's just happy to be there. Happy to be a part of the world. And the price that she paid to join the world was her voice, her ability to speak. Same bestie. Been there. I mean, people think she's a bit wacky, but mostly they take to her. I'd say, arguably, she's treated better up there than she was by her own family, who only seemed to value her for her voice and barely even knew where she was half the time. On land, she's accepted as a non-speaking, slightly odd but sweet girl who would actually be a pretty decent match for the prince. There's a bit of jealousy, sure, but overall the vibes are great. She has absolutely no clue about social etiquette. Like, none. I mean, because she learned everything that she knows about human culture from a slightly deranged seagull. Same bestie. Been there. But when it becomes clear that this crackpot of a seagull has misled her, she doesn't let it get her down. She just keeps on keeping on. Continues learning. Stays curious. Continues being her kind, non-speaking self, having an absolute blast. Tell me that's not inspirational. Tell me this isn't neurodivergent goals. She is living the dream. Of course, us neurodivergent icons can often get our trust broken, and Ariel is no exception. You see Sea Witch Ursula turns herself into a sexy decoy and casts a spell on Prince Eric. And then, finally, Daddy, God of the Sea, does something in service of his child and takes on the worm guy burden for himself. And then boom! Giant Ursula! Whoa, this fucking incredible scene. And then wham! Our Eric stabs her with a boat. I do feel, though, that if an abdominal wound was enough to take down the trident bearer, then Ursula was somewhat overthinking her plan to usurp the throne. But thankfully, King Triton's first proper encounter with an actual live human being is enough to change his entire opinion on the whole species. Flaky. flaky dictator. And then we learn that he has the full power to turn people into mermaids or mermaids into people, whatever he wants. And so, like, you know, he could have just turned all humans into mermaids if he hates us so much. I'm still waiting. But he did love his daughter, apparently, in the end. And he saw that actually she was safe and happy. He, the most powerful man of the seas, changed, bent to the will of his daughter. She broke him, the symbol of patriarchal tyranny. She stood on her own 2 feet and created love and joy where there was none, and smashed the patriarchy for all the mer people in the ocean. Ariel, being her oddball, nonconformist self, changed the world for both humans and mer people alike. She never changed, never wavered. She always knew what she wanted and she got it in the end. She didn't let disability or social conventions or a lack of understanding of those social conventions stop her. And for that, she is absolutely an icon, autistically. Thank you for watching. This is a bit of a practice, a bit of a trial run for me, having a go at doing some more media stuff. I'm going to be doing some more videos about autistic characters, autism representation in media, autistic-coded characters, autistic TV shows like Love on the Spectrum, all kinds of stuff. So if you like this video, like the video, have a look at Patreon, leave a comment, do a share, all the things. Thank you, bye.